Shamps and Giggles, the #1 talk show on radio. History, news, views, and reviews from a black perspective. Sean Bailey, the black politician, is now a lord. Who's talking about that? The drama behind Carnival, the costumes, the bands, the absolute lack of investment. Huh? Oh, you haven't heard? Tune in to Shamps and Giggles and hear us. We're talking the things. We're talking about this black show. What's the black show again, Keith?
Miss Leisha's put it in there. 1 minute. It was.
Welcome everybody to Shamps and Giggles. It's Friday. It's an amazing day. The end of an amazing week. The start of an amazing weekend. Not all skin folk are kinfolk, though. Is that the show?
No, that's not the show. No.
That's in relation to that what we were just talking about.
Show.
Oh, but I mean,
link in the chat, Joseph. If you click on the link, then you'll see.
In which chat? I can't see. I've just come on, so
Yeah.
I'll have you. It's called Nana Aqua, I think it is, or something like that. Nana
Aqua, and it's Theatre Royal Stratford East.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they put on a slavery show, do you go and watch that with a white, but like Kunta Kinte? Would you go and watch that with a white person? Many black people say they'd feel uncomfortable watching that with a white person because you see what white people do to black people. And I think the truth is many white people would feel uncomfortable because they'd be ashamed of what their ancestors did to black people in that time frame. And many of them are appalled by it. So it's quite interesting what you lot are saying, that whereas these shows like the Bob Marley in the theatre and whatever was predominantly visited or frequented by a majority white audience, it's not surprising because it's who does the marketing, isn't it? Who's the one promoting the event? And they're going to promote to their audience, right? So we've spoken about this many times in our culture, our community. We're found to be wanting in terms of promoting certain aspects of our culture. And sometimes we've just lost it. We lost Bob Marley.
Yeah,
we lost it. And a Bob Marley event comes on. We're not the promoters of Bob Marley. We're not. Is that the play theatre holding a black performance?
Yeah, and it's Stratford East, and the directors, the two directors are known. I think that they've been on TV and all sorts of ITV, and the names Rashan Stone and Daniel Ward. They're the stars of it. And they feel that it was a bit controversial to have a black only and performance of Tambone and Bone, I think it's called, and it explores 300 years of African American slavery and things like that in there. Yeah, that's it, Joe.
So the Nana Akua, the London Theatre holding a black only performance to keep the play free of the white gaze, uses the language of apartheid. This is what is the white gaze? Anybody have any idea what that is?
Audience.
It just means that, white people watching alongside you. The audience, the white audience that's watching with you, the white gaze. Because some people may feel uncomfortable if, say, for instance, it's a white person chastising a black person and they're sitting next to a white person, they may feel uncomfortable or vice versa. So they've just kept it all black.
This is an amazing step, isn't it? Because, wow, look at this. You can twist that any way you want. That's what they've done. This is the Daily Mail. Is it Daily Mail? Mail Online. That's Daily Mail, right? That's reporting on this Friday, May 26th, today. And you can spin that one way or another, which is what they seem to be doing.
It's a
Just
bit
imagine
like an
if the situation
operational
was
black
reversed. That's what it's look. Just imagine if the situation was reversed with a private whites only audience, free from the black gays.
Amen.
So, well, I don't understand. It's dangerous. All the so. I mean, do you know what? See, this is the problem with race inequality and all the rest of it. Is you can take anything. So, in this country, we're a minority, perhaps 2% trying to have a voice, right? So when you try and have a voice, the 98% say, well, what if we did that? I mean, come on, Pinky, your hands up, type of things.
I was going to say, it's a bit like having an operational vote, like they did as an operational black vote. Yeah, they've done that politically. Okay, and for me, as was being said earlier, that certain audience are predominantly white when it's a black person appearing. I think that this has been more geared to, it's not maybe it is part of, like they say, how one is going to feel, because it has been proven that black people do change their perspective when they're dealing with a white person, or when a white person is about. Their whole changes.
That's called respect.
Psychologically it does.
That's called respect.
There are some, they are. Unfortunately, there is. That's what they say. So hence why there are some situations when it has to be discussing certain things, they prefer that it's all black.
Yeah, but that's called respect. In front of my mum, I would act differently. In fact, my voice changes in front of my mum. That's just called respect.
Yeah.
So when you're beside another culture, it doesn't necessarily have to be white, it could be whatever other culture. You respectfully take that into consideration in how you present yourself. It's just respect.
No, it's a bit more deeper than that. When they say about, it's not about respect.
It's how they want to spin it, though, isn't it?
Well, not really.
You
would have to look at the research around it. Okay.
Well, I was working with an Indian guy today in a white household. Okay. And of course, my demeanor is not, it's not going to be as I am with you guys. That's just called respect. Right? Because they're not going to understand me in this sort of framework. Right? In fact, one of the things was I found it a bit uncomfortable. I was upstairs with the old white boy, and he's an old guy. He's on death's door. He's not well. And we have a lot of banter with, because you can. And he talks about his flooring, and it was the Indians, he says. It was the Indians, they did a piss poor job of that. And the downstairs is the Indian guy who's obviously, me and him did the engineers. I felt a bit uncomfortable. Where are you going with that, mate? How are you going to say that? And my man's downstairs. Right? You see my point? Who you're with and how you act is called respect. You're not going to call out Indian when there's an Indian in your house, even if they did do a bad job. Do you know what I mean? You sort of reserve that one, weren't you? You know what I mean? We did an excellent job, by the way. The young lad that I was working, he did a fantastic job in there. But you know what I mean? So I felt a bit uncomfortable. I actually walked away from it. I walked away because I was like, that's not really, So it is a respect. And you see, with all these things, it's how they spin it. It's not what it is. Whatever the situation is, it is what it is. But it's then how they spin it. Do you see what I'm saying, Pinky?
Yeah, I do understand that, but I do also understand that in the UK, not enough black people do go out to certain plays and theatres and things like that. They don't.
Now, Pinky.
And I do think that that, you know, so by them actually saying something like that, it's a way of getting a crowd in. It's also a way of getting people particularly from the Black community, because within the Black community, they don't go to places like theatres, you know, opera houses, all these, there's so much that we just don't do. They don't, it's very minute. I mean, even last night I was out and I went to Go Penguins, you know, 3 white guys, you know, but I went because I like jazz, and it was a jazz with a bit of a twist that I've never heard before. And yeah, rightly, who am I going to find to go with those kind of things?
Pinky,
Nobody other than a
I would
person,
go
I guess.
to a play as such as what you're describing. But Pinky, you hit the nail on the head. Not enough Black people do go to theatre performances and engage in that arena. It's so true. And let me just say, shams and giggles, this is Friday. It is amazing. Our mission statement is that we're avid supporters of Black businesses, entertainment, and community, looking to build the infrastructure that enables our community and businesses and our entertainers to thrive. We proactively look for ways to be supportive. We're a positive-minded group. It is Friday. It is the end of the week. Leisha, your hand keeps going up and down. Make your mind up, girl. I mean, seriously.
You know what? I just can't, because there's so many things, so many nuances to this. Because, you know,
Drop a nuance. That's it. Drop one.
People do go. Black people do go to theatres. We just don't see. It looks like many of us don't go there because there are more white people in the country than there are Black people, and there's so many other things that we attend than theatres.
Now, let's give this a little bit of context. I'm going to stay there, Leisha. Don't run away. Let's just give this a little bit of context. Leisha's a bit of a high flyer, okay, and she does like to go to these types of places. By the way, it is Friday. We have to do protocol, though. I mean, everybody's here. George,
but Joe, it's not about being a high flyer.
Hold on, Pinky. Hold on, Pinky. I asked you not just to hold on 1 second. Hold 1 second. No, hold on, Shirley Boo. Hands are going up. Wait, Leisha, don't run away. Stay right there, Leisha. Hold on, Pinky. Wait. Hold on. It is Friday. We haven't had our customary drink. Now we gotta have a drink. See, pour yourself a drink. Nice, relax. Oh, George he's got his drink up. Nice, relaxed evening. Relax. Grown folk conversation. Now, Leisha, your point is valid. Don't go on mute now, having raised the point. Hang around a little bit. Your point is valid. Black people do go to these theater type events. They do. And I'm sure you do. Okay. Now, what would the question be? Number one, how frequently do we do that? How frequently do you go to a theater event? You know, Leicester Square and the likes. How frequent would you say?
That's the point of the matter is this, is that there's so many other things that we could, that's available to us than years ago. You know, there was a point back in the 90s and 80s where a lot of theatre, a lot of Black theatres lost their funding. And
yes. Deliberate, by the way.
Lost their funding, lost their places. So that then affected the Black theatre. So I can understand why these guys are doing it, because they're trying to create an environment whereby Black people feel that we can get together and have conversations about, you know, what's affecting us or what's in the play. And it's a good marketing tool as well. But we, you know, Black people go to so many different things. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I think you got a point.
I'm stuck on this because, in a way, I don't think that. I think that theatre should be for everybody. Really, I really do. Because regardless of what they thought they might be doing, is because they feel that it's a safe place for Black people to come together and have a conversation or about what the play was about. But you've got YouTube, people are talking openly, and all these other platforms, people are talking openly about things. Yes, they are.
But YouTube, the subscribers, whatever you're talking about, your subscribers are going to be of like-mindedness. Whereas when you go to the theater, it's meant to be of open-mindedness. It's different. It's different, isn't
No,
it?
I think because the theatres, you've only got so many seats in the theatre.
Right.
So they want to
Exactly.
make it accessible to Black people. Yeah. But
Mhm.
just because that may not always be a good way, I don't think, because I think some people just need to be educated still. I think theatre's always been a good way to educate people and reach people's minds, create conversations and discourse that generally you can't have on a day-to-day basis.
Right. Now, as you said many things there, by the way. There's only so many seats in the theatre.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's only one night. They're only going to be selling out for one night. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
and that's
You know.
probably the reason why they're like, we're only going to be here for one night, so we're going to sell out all of our seats to black audience only, and then that's it. But what happens thereafter? It would be quite nice to actually follow what their plans are.
Now, that's interesting. They're selling out for one night. Hold on,
That's
that's
not the
another
only
good
night,
point.
though. It's
Hold
not
on,
the only
Spice.
night.
Wait, you can't all jump in. Wait a minute. They're
Sorry.
selling out for one night. It's Leisha's turn. They're selling out for one night, right? Which is another point. Couldn't this be the evolution of the theatre? Because I would argue that the theatre's been losing, well, the seats are empty. So they're looking a way to fill the venue.
But do you know what? Do you know how it can be very difficult to sell out theatre seats?
Right.
Yeah.
So if they've tried this and it worked, why not?
It's costly, and people just don't see the value in theatre and live performances. You know, I've gone to theatre shows where it's not been many of an audience, and there's somewhere it's just absolutely packed.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, theatre for everybody. I mean, I've gone to ballet, I've done opera, I've done jazz, I've done blues, I've done loads of different things. But I think when you go into these places, sometimes you'd see a certain demographic in these places, and you probably might stand out.
You wouldn't want to go and feel uncomfortable, though, would you? I mean, if you went to a theatre and it was a certain type of play and you felt uncomfortable.
But I think sometimes plays should evoke some sort of uncomfortability, so you can, so it sort of opens your mind. It evokes a conversation. It makes you think a bit more widely, other than, you know, and learn a lot more about yourself. Really, I think that's really important about theatre.
Yeah. Now, interesting that your point here. Hold 1 second, 1 second here. George, your hand has been biting to go up. Shirley Boo, your hand is up. Is it on the same subject what Leisha's talking about? Okay. So Shirley Boo, I can't see, you can't nod or anything.
Right.
I can't tell.
Years ago, my work colleague took me to see I think Cleopatra. Is it Cleopatra? I think she took me to see a theatre in the Globe. Is it the Globe Theatre? A show in the Globe Theatre. Yeah. And I had friends, and I wanted to go back again and see that. But my friends were not into that. They were only into going out to raves. Now, when I had my daughter, I was able to go to see the theatre. So there's not a lot of Black people do go to theatre things and do that.
Shirley Boo, what you've said there, poignant point. Years ago, your friends only wanted to go to where? Rave.
Dancing, yes.
See, the theatre and Black people or the Black culture, is not the mainstream Black culture. Rave, everybody understand a rave. Theatre, know that, right?
And also sorry, Joseph. And also my I think I was talking to my work colleague, and my work colleague was surprised that I go to theatres, and she was surprised I go to see Shakespeare. She was she was very surprised. She was like, "Oh, you go there?" I said, "Yeah." And she looks, it's like she was stereotyping me, really.
Yes. It's not conscious. It's unconscious stereotyping. Black people don't do that. But as we're bringing out on the show, yes, we do. Yes, we do. George, you're trying to get your hand up. What part the tea?
I think it is just a hi, everybody, by the way. Hi.
Yeah.
It is about education. My daughter actually went to a really multicultural primary school.
Ooh.
And I remember them going to watch The Lion King. Now, when I never went to a theatre till I was about 16, 17. I thought the theatre was for posh people. That was it. We weren't allowed to go. So we didn't get taken to the theatre from school or anything at our age. But then my daughter's age and my older daughter as well, they've put on theatre productions in a multicultural school, but these kids have now been shown that they can go to the theatre. They were shown that at 7 and 8 years old.
Right.
You know, so I think now, hopefully, you will see more people from other cultures going to the theatre, the more they are shown in these primitive years in education that they are allowed to go to these places. These places are for everybody, like somebody says, you know, it should be for everyone.
So that does check the box of education. If we're introduced, it's like, I look at like food. The food we all eat is foods that we have been introduced to through our parents. And that's why, it's not because it tastes good, nothing to do with it. We made it taste good. It's because it was what we was introduced to. If we was introduced to, if it was in another part of the world and they introduced us to those types of, guess what? That same food is gonna taste good.
Until you get a little bit older and then media can dictate what foods you like.
If you allow it. By and large,
what I mean is the
plantain
parents
still good for me. Rice and peas still good for me.
But the parents have less input.
Raised.
Once the kids have got their own money and can go in the shop themselves, then the parents have got less say.
Less say, but the kids gravitate to what the parents' teaching was.
Yeah.
That's what it is. When I went to, and I lived abroad, and the family that I lived with, my palate then changed. Why? Because in that house, that was a food that was cooked. So that was the food now you began to eat. And as a result, I learned about different types of food. So that's what it is. What we're introduced to, those are the things predominantly that we adhere to and if it comes from a young, so if our family
and that we know we're allowed.
Yeah, that's it. We're allowed, because you're introduced, you're allowed to it. So that's what carries on. So theatership in our culture, because it hasn't been introduced, my parents, why shouldn't my word? We never went to a theater. Pinky, maybe you got taken to the theater by your parents, and so you frequent the theater. Your hand is up, Pinky. If you unmute, you can talk the things. But it's so I know Shirley. So when you introduce your children to these type of things, then not surprisingly, they go on to we can go here, we can go there. My daughter just called me the other. She got to South Africa, like, huh? And then she's in. I can't even keep up now. Pinky, your hands up, talk things. I can't keep up.
But you know what? When I go theatres and things like that, I always thought and felt to myself, it's just really weird. You just don't know. It's not like I went to theatre. I've seen things like Evita, which is, all opera, but it's a black. The main lead is a black woman and a king, and her father was a king. You understand? So these are two people that are coming. So this is Evita. Then there's Lady Sings the Blues.
Yeah.
Right? What I'm actually saying is those kind of, and Porky and Bess.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm saying that what I feel, this is personally me, is that information don't get out enough.
No, correct.
The
not
black
in
community. Okay,
right.
This is how I feel. Okay.
No, you're right. Right.
I took my children, the nearest I've only ever took my children is just at the Royal Albert Hall, only because it's in the back there. So I've taken them to see certain things via like theatre, but it's not it's really, I feel it's a lot to do with information, whether you get that information or you know about that this event is actually happening.
That's right. And if that
9 out of 10,
information,
you don't know.
Yeah, is that information being shared to the peoples, the groups, the organizations that you subscribe to? Because if you're into Roots FM, you're not gonna hear about things them that are going right.
In the theater.
You're not gonna hear about ever.
No, not all the time.
So you have to change who you listen to. This is so interesting. This is a valuable point. Here's somebody I only wish that I went to see, Tina Turner, we're talking about. Simply the best. An amazing artist. We're going to go to commercial break. We will be back after these words. We have to give tribute to Tina Turner. Just an amazing woman. She was simply the best.
I call you, I need you, my heart's on fire. You come to me wild and wild. You come to me, give me everything I need. Give me a lifetime of promises and a world of dreams. Speak the language of love like you know what it means. And it can't be wrong. Take my heart and make it strong. You simply